Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. This is Paul with Blackwater Honey Forge. If you've never seen me before, welcome here. And if you have seen me, then thanks for coming back. You know, it's funny, I haven't done a video in probably about 3 weeks now, and it feels like it's been 2 months. It's funny how much this becomes part of the routine, and when you're out of it for a moment, you feel like you're missing something. So I'm glad to be back out here at the apiary and on camera. I finally remembered to bring my trimmer down today because the bee yard desperately needs to be trimmed. I'm going to be talking about honey production this year. I'm going to be talking about an updated hive count. I'm going to be doing some mite treatments while I'm out here. And I'm going to get to work doing the trimming. While I'm doing that, since you don't need to watch it, I'm going to show you guys another project that I've been up to here on the homestead. A lot of time, energy, money, and effort went into that. So I'm going to get to work, enjoy the non-bee related info for a moment, and I'll be right back with you.
This is Blackwater Honey Forge, named in part after the Blackwater River we live near in central New Hampshire, and in part after the master craftsmanship of honeybees. This is a place for learning, discussion, and to practice the art of beekeeping. Welcome to the journey. Be well and forge on.
So this is my duck house. This is one of the big projects that I've been working on lately. Not the duck house itself, that's been there for years. But I was having a serious issue with my ducks. Unfortunately, and fortunately, I guess because they're cool, is I have a family of bald eagles that lives at the lake that's, I don't know, 2,000 feet that way. About a quarter mile away or so off my property is a lake. I'm sure there's babies as well, but I think it's a mated pair of eagles. But either way, last year I had a problem with the eagle coming in and taking some of my animals. This year they were working in tandem and they were decimating my flock. In 3 days, not only did I lose 3 ducks, 4 ducks? Maybe 4 ducks. But I also lost the baby goose that we let, mama goose right there. I let her sit on a clutch of eggs this year. And all said and done, actually only one of them hatched. Well, 2 of them hatched. One of them, unfortunately, didn't make it long after the hatching. I think it got suffocated or whatnot. But that mated pair of geese was raising a beautiful baby goose. And they were doing an awesome job protecting her. But unfortunately, when you get 2 eagles working together, they're not going to be able to do too much. So what did I do out here to stop the eagles? Well, one thing I did was cut the run into less than half of what it was. This run used to go all the way kind of down there where you see the gravel. It used to be about 100 feet long. It's about 45 feet wide. And the thought of trying to cover that amount of square footage was a large undertaking. So instead what I did is I came out here, I rented a machine to level out the area, and then I have my uprights, which I sunk in with my post hole digger 3 feet down into the ground, and then I screwed 2x4s to that, and then I have a rim of lumber all along the top. Now, what I did was I took the same polywire that I used for my electric fence, and every 10 inches I made a cut in the wood, and I used that to lattice back and forth a 10-inch line, so way smaller than an eagle can fly through. Now, in addition to that, I haven't finished it off yet, but I did this in both directions. So it's actually going to be a crosshatch, if you can see that. See how it's going to have those 10-inch squares. Now, this stuff is resilient. It has high tensile strength. It shouldn't hold on to the snow that much, so hopefully it won't try to support a snow load, because that would just bring the whole thing crashing down, I think. I've tried to use bird netting and deer fencing in the past, and it just holds on to that wet, sticky snow, and it just collapses everything. So in here, or I should start with, way up there, I have a bunch of elevation. It's hard to see through the trees right now, but that elevation probably goes up a couple 100 feet. That sheds a lot of water that I have some French drains in that used to feed a small pool in here and then a larger pool. But let me show you out back here. Since I opened up the area and closed it off to the ducks, which they were very dismayed about, I also went ahead and dug myself a new pond. Now, pond is going to be a strong word at the moment because it's August and it's very dry. But, so it's totally dry. But when it does fill up, and it will, I'm absolutely sure of that. It's about 40 feet across. It's probably about 5.5 feet deep at the deepest. And this is very, very clay-based. It should hold the water actually really well. And I know that because this spot has held water for years. So I actually went ahead and already have wildflowers spread all over here for wildflower seed. I made a little seating area for me and the missus, or me and the kids if we feel like hanging out. And this was just a 2-day project that took a lot of time, energy, and effort. And luckily my nephew helped me out a ton. And this was one of those things that was not bee related that I had to take care of on the homestead. And discretion, it doesn't look that bad, or excuse me, disclaimer. I'm going to show you something a little gnarly on camera here, so if you're squeamish, look away. But putting the PTO-driven post hole digger onto the tractor, this is why you need to make sure you don't get your fingers in the way of your PTO drive and your PTO shaft when installing implements. That fingernail is almost completely gone. There's only that little sliver right there. So that was an urgent care visit, just because I needed them to get in there with their sterile tools and clip away the remnants of what was left of my fingernail. Oh, excuse me, what was, needed to go on the fingernail. Now I just have that little sliver left. Oh, there it is again. Oh no. Oh, are we gonna focus? So, yeah, it doesn't want to focus, of course. But you know what? I don't think people want to see that. There we go. There's some focusing. Surprisingly, doesn't hurt. Supposedly it will grow back. We'll find out. Anyway, back to the bees. So to show you a huge difference here in just cleaning up the front of these hives with all the tall grass and everything, these hives don't have any tar paper underneath them. They just have some gravel. And there's a lot to clean up in front of these hives. Versus in contrast, when you have the tar paper and skirt that about a foot in front of the hives, it's way less to clean up. So if you're only running a small number or only got a couple of yards, you may want to consider putting down the tar paper or the felt paper or some type of fabric in order to just help you out with the weed control. It definitely does make life a lot easier. So eagles, right? I mean, that's a bummer. Like I said on the video there, they're a beautiful animal. I love looking at them, but I don't love watching them tear apart my livestock. I literally had to run out into the field at one point and yell at the eagles to get off duck they had already killed that they were trying to fly away with. And it's unfortunate. I can't do anything about the eagles. And basically I run nature's grocery store when you have chickens and ducks and things like that. So the best that I can do is try to protect them. I did think about getting rid of my flock, and I had actually put a Facebook post up to do that. But I took it down within about 10 or 15 minutes because I realized I've put in a lot of effort for those animals over the years. And some of those birds I've had 6 or 7 years. I didn't want to, it felt like abandonment if I just gave up on them or gave them away. Even though that decision would have been ultimately to protect them, I was invested. That's my job. I'm supposed to take care of them. I'm duck dad. So I did what I needed to do. Now, about the bees, let me spin you around here. So, I've lost a couple more hives. I've had some queen failures out here. And I don't want to call myself a lackadaisical beekeeper, but realize, wow, I want to apologize first and foremost about if I have a hard time talking today, it's because I just worked about a 30-hour shift on an emergency response, and I didn't get home until 7 in the morning. I got about 4 hours of sleep, and now I'm out here doing this. So anyway, I have had some queen failures. I really don't think getting into the hives every week for inspections would have stopped that at all, because I've been in the hives within about the last couple of weeks anyway. So it's unfortunate. Failures do happen. There's a couple of boxes that I need to check in for population. This one right here with the single standing up brick, they just don't have good entrance activity. And to me, that's one of the biggest indicators that something's wrong. So I do really need to pull them apart, make sure they're still queen right, make sure they're still doing what they need to be doing. Unfortunately, right here, I did lose one of the swarms that I caught earlier this year that was in really good shape. I did a combine on it later as well, and I don't think the combine negatively affected per se, but for whatever reason, they either absconded with the queen, swarmed again, or the queen failed. But either way, there is bees in that box, but they're hopelessly queenless. They don't have any brood. I think they've already gotten robbed out. They're just in the process of dying. And it's not even a lot of bees. It's a frame of bees, maybe. I've lost another one back over here. Same thing, queen failure. And there's nothing in that. There's no bees or whatnot. So I need to kind of just break that down. And then, so full hive count. You know, I started at 10. I wanted to get 30 plus this year. I got 34, which I was really happy about. I actually had a really good take as well on my queen cells, if you remember. I had like a 97% take on the queens, which was phenomenal, between my queen cells and my walkaway splits. But due to some attrition and some queen failures, I'm down to 28. So it's not the post 30 number that I was hoping for, but I do really feel good about the 28. Hopefully I can go into winter with 28 and come out with more than 0. Because right now what I can do is, now that the honey season is over, it's really all about just making them healthy and heavy and doing the best I can to manage them going into winter. That's why today I'm also going to be doing an oxalic acid vaporization treatment. And let's talk for a moment about honey. You'll see a couple of the bee boxes back here. I've got these bright red shims. Those are actually my bee escapes. I've had those on for a number of days just to get the bees out of those boxes. But here's the bad news. Those boxes have very little, if any, honey in them. I don't want to say that I'm skunked this year, but I don't have enough in these boxes to justify even taking them back to process. Because I probably, at best, between all the boxes, have maybe, I don't know, 20 pounds of honey, which, quite honestly, I'm going to be taking those supers off today, and I'm going to be setting them aside, and I'm going to be letting the bees just go ahead and bring that honey back into their hives. Because despite the fact that I have beautiful goldenrod, I was showing earlier I have that horse mint, which they're all over. My Japanese knotweed's about to bloom. I've had a good Joe Pye weed. I do have things that are still coming in, and I could probably try to grab some amount of honey out of that, but I would just be doing the bees a disservice, because any honey that I'm grabbing, I'm really just robbing from their winter stores. And any honey that I get, I'm literally just going to spend in money, in sugar, to feed back to them so that way they have something. So it seems counterproductive to me and an unnecessary redundancy. I'm just going to feed them the honey that they've collected is now for them, for the winter. And I'm hoping with everything that's in bloom, you can see there's yellow in every direction. There's just beautiful goldenrod. I've spent about 5 years making sure to propagate the goldenrod really well around here. So I'm really hoping that that's going to really take off for them. We've had some decent rain from time to time, and I am going to be feeding them as well. I did make up about 30 gallons of feed as well. So it's really just about getting them mite-free and heavy right now. So healthy bees or live bees. Now, about the hives that are gone, it is really unfortunate, because obviously your number one resource as a beekeeper is bees. It's live bees. And a close second to that, though, is drawn comb, which are in those boxes. I have a good amount of drawn comb, so that's a very valuable resource for me to have and to harvest. And I'll be able to springboard into next year with those in order to help with splits and nucs and things like that. I would have preferred, obviously, live bees, but beekeeping, in a way, it mirrors life a lot, right? We don't get to choose what we prefer. We can have preferences, but that doesn't mean it's going to come our way. It most certainly doesn't come my way all the time. So I can prefer something all day long, but at the end of the day, I pretty much just have to accept what's handed to me. I can work towards a goal, but it is what it is, right? I can't make something out of nothing. So right now I have harvestable resources, which I'm going to capitalize on. So I'm going to get to work. I'm going to pull these boxes out here. I'll be setting those aside later, and then we're going to go ahead and do some oxalic acid treatments as well. So hopefully everyone else has had really good yields this year, and I'll turn the camera around here again. I know I've been hard on myself a couple of times on this channel, and my supporters and my watchers and subscribers and such have done a really phenomenal job at, and I really owe you a thanks, at supporting me and reminding me that you can really have one or the other. You can have bees or you can have honey, and that's the chase of every beekeeper, as one of my commenters said. And it's really helped to keep me grounded, because I always take on more than any one person generally should. And I hold myself to a high standard, right? I want to have all the bees and I want to have all the honey. It's just an unrealistic expectation. So I do appreciate my commenters for keeping me grounded and saying that this is a win. You know, yeah, at one point I tripled my apiary. It's a little bit lower than that now, but that's a win. Take it, accept it, celebrate that, basically. Yeah, we're going to get to work. I'm going to pull some nearly empty supers and feed those back to the bees. And then we're going to keep doing some more work. I'll tell you what, if grasshoppers made honey, I'd be in the money. Look at this. Most every box is like that, just infestation of grasshoppers everywhere. Have some well-fed birds. That's for sure. So I will say it's not all doom and gloom. When you pop a hive top up and you got your bee escape there, and it is loaded with bees, and it's wall-to-wall bees in there, and it's a nice heavy box, this made me smile. I needed to see this. That makes me really happy. Good looking hive right here. Hey, I'm giving you compliments. Don't fly at me. One of the reasons why I do like these soft covers, I can keep most of this hive covered up while I feed. One of the cons is that when it's sunny out and you take your top off and the sun's reflecting off of this, it's pretty much like staring directly into the sun. I wish it came in a non-metallic finish. But then I guess they wouldn't be able to call it Reflectix. So the ladies are doing exactly what I knew they'd be doing here. Didn't take them long to find what little honey I put on this trailer, and they're all over it. I just fed everybody as well, and a couple of the hives were pretty pissy about that. I tried to explain to them that I'm trying to provide for them, but they didn't seem to care much. But I need to hurry up and do my oxalic acid treatment, so that way I can get this stuff away from the apiary a little bit more. I don't like to have open feed sources so close to the hives, because I don't want to trigger robbing amongst the hives themselves. But in terms of oxalic acid, I do this. I've breathed that crap a couple of times. It's no good. Make sure you have a good face mask. And then I just got the Larabi's Instant Vap, the old school original one, because I like how adjustable it is and it shows me numbers and I don't have to guess or follow blinking lights. So I'm going to get that set up, get my mask on, and we're going to do some of that treatment.
This is going to be fun because the hives are going nuts, and of course this is one of my strongest population hives, and it's really close to my trailer with those honey supers on it. So it'll be interesting. I might get stung a couple times, but c'est la vie. But either way, I'm doing 4 grams for the treatment. I'm going to do this over 4 weeks, and with eventually dearth coming and the brood cycles, that should really get me a good hit on the mites that are exposed. So that's almost up to temp. I'm going to get this ready. Excuse me, ladies. Get that placed in there. Couple more degrees. Sorry for the suspense. But yeah, as I was saying, highly recommend a good face mask. You get a whiff of this stuff, it doesn't do you any good. I wear glasses all the time anyway. They should be safety glasses or goggles, I'm aware, but I do skimp on that part. Don't take safety advice from a guy named Crash. Or nickname Crash, anyway. That's my advice. Don't take advice from my safety consciousness. As I'm sitting here in the middle of a feeding frenzy swarm. Welcome to beekeeping. With this machine, it takes about 20 seconds. That's really not too bad. The turbos and stuff might be really cool, but I already own this one. It cost me 500 bucks. I'm not about to run out and buy more. Not yet, anyway. It would be nice to have more than one, though, so that way I could already be working on the second hive, and I could just leapfrog with the machines. It would really make good, quick work of it. I think we're going to have to pull that trailer away. The amount of bees, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but the amount of bees that are flying around me and flying around that trailer right now is a little gnarly. Even if I just bring it 50 or 100 feet away, I think that might help out here some. Why don't I do that? So we'll see if that helps out some. I got the trailer with the honey supers on about 100 feet away now. The bees are definitely going nuts. And you know, this is one of those things that I've learned about my beekeeping, is things tend to take a lot longer than you think they're going to. You know, I always tell my wife, well, I'm going out to the bee yard, I'll be out there for 30 minutes or whatever. You know, and then 2 hours later I come back in the house. And even today was, hey, I'm going to go out, I'm going to pull honey supers, I'm going to feed colonies, and I'm going to do oxalic acid. All pretty quick things. But turns out, when you also take time to make a YouTube video during that, slows down your progress a little bit. But hey, like I said, c'est la vie. This stuff's pretty dry. I added some water to it already. That's really the trick. If it's super powdery and it doesn't seem to want to hold it, just add a little bit of good water, and that'll help out. My bees are not happy with me today. One of the hives definitely went all over my pants and got me about 3 times earlier, but luckily it wasn't too bad. What are you gonna do? They're bees. Sometimes you get stung. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna hit all my hives. Like I said, I'm gonna do this once a week for the next 4 weeks. I do apologize for the, the vocals to the mask as well. But I think I've said this a few times, but I hope, a few times in the last few videos, but I hope whatever your goals were this year, well, you might not even be a beekeeper. I don't know if you're, that's I wonder how many people watch these videos who aren't a beekeeper. That's kind of interesting to think about. But if you are a keeper, man, I hope you're hitting your goals, whatever it is, whether it's simply having a couple of hives and keeping your bees alive, whether you're trying to produce some honey, whether you're going to markets and selling honey, or whether you're trying to expand your production and go sideliner like I am. You know, I'm really hoping with the number that I have, I think I actually might have gone down to 27 in the course of this this video, 27 hives. I thought I had 28. There's one that's in dire straits. We'll see. You know, I really, oh, see, I'm blabbing. I can already move on. I'm hoping the number that I come out of winter with really springboard me next year, where I can at least keep half of my yard as production colonies. That way I can get a good honey yield. I'm going to take the other half, make nucs both for sale. I'm going to try to sell some nucs next year with the locally adapted overwintered survivor stock. I think that's a pretty good selling point. The problem is you have to compete with packages that are going to be coming in April, and I'm not going to be available to sell those nucs until later on, May or June. Most of my splits I made up with queen cells were in May this year, which really means to get an established nuc with a good laying queen and know that everything is good enough to sell. I'm probably looking at June. I don't know that a lot of people are going to wait until June to buy bees, but I guess that's one of the things that I'm going to have to learn as part of the business. other than that, I really need to get cranking. I'm on hive number 2 at the moment here for this oxalic acid. This is the hard part about not having a camera person out here. But, excuse me, ladies. Beep, beep. Come on. I don't want to murder too many of you. Done a lot of bee murder already today. So, uh-oh, I don't want to sit on them either. Oh, where was I? Train of thought has left the station. 4 hours of sleep, 30 hours of work. That'll happen. But yeah, basically, oh yeah, I was going to say I want to hold back. It depends on really how many hives I'm working with. I really actually want to hold back only 1/3 for nuc production and keep 2/3 for honey production. That's really more of the number that I want. So, but it's all based upon winter survival. And that's exactly, like I said earlier in this video, what I'm focusing on right now. Honey season's over. I see a lot of keepers in the area that still have honey supers on, and that's cool. I hope that they can get a nice fall honey harvest and go into winter strong. Right now, since I already know my honey harvest is garbage, I'm just focusing on strong hives and winter survival rates. And that's going to be kind of the cadence of the next couple of months for me. Treat when needed, feed as necessary, check weight, keep the bees healthy, and eventually I'll show you my winter prep, because I do wrap my hives. I'll show you what I wrap them with. I'll show you how I wrap them, and then what I did as far as switching to the top covers this year that I chose, and what I'm doing for additional upper level insulation. So, other than that, I hope you all are doing well. Again, I hope you're meeting your goals. And looks like rain might be moving in too, so I gotta move quick. Guys, be well, forge on, take care. Have a good day.